We want the wealth of the country, our resources, to be used to build schools, to build hospitals, to have sources of drinking water, to build roads, so that we don't have to take boats and die on the high seas to flee the land. This is our land. We bled for it. We want to live there in dignity. And so, but that was too much for the Bush administration. First starting with George Bush, the father, as Haitians call him Papa Bush. And he was the president, and he was behind the coup d'etat of 1991 to 1994, which resulted in over 5,000 deaths, conservatively speaking. And Aristide, the people of Haiti, didn't learn their lesson. They re-elected him again because they said, this is our choice. This is the man who will be our spokesperson, because he has shown the discipline to respect the people's will.
And I have to inject right here that the courage of the Haitian people is mind-boggling, because they had to face the military, the tonton macoute in election after election, and they just kept coming. It's just absolutely amazing the danger. They risked their lives to vote.
Indeed.
And walked for miles and miles to vote for their presidency. But of course, in Haiti, it's one person, one vote. Right. Not like here.
Well, the people had to struggle to make that happen.
I'm
they
sure.
tried to steal the vote. They tried they killed people who were in line, but still people just went and kept coming, and then, but still, the forces of the elite, the so-called elite in Haiti, that tiny minority that has worked in conjunction with the imperialist powers to extract the wealth of Haiti, have once again, when Aristide was re-elected in 2001, they have made sure that the country was once again embargoed, so that it wouldn't receive any outside assistance, not even loans that the Haitian government was entitled to. And so they really, and when that could not topple the people's government, they actually hired mercenaries, former Haitian military soldiers, and according to some reports, including some mercenaries who had their faces hidden behind masks. We saw that in the Congo. And so they invaded Haiti, and really, and still they couldn't win. So it took, and Randall Robinson talks about that in his book, it took actually a detachment of U.S. military personnel to kidnap President Aristide out of the country, and still the resistance of the people continued. And now what we have an occupation of the country by United Nations forces, very reminiscent of what happened in the Congo, the move to do away with Patrice Lumumba, the assassination of Lumumba. Unfortunately, Brother Aristide was able to, he survived that. He's now in exile in South Africa. Right.
Now, there's been a very recent kidnapping of a Haitian activist and human rights activist, wonderful human being, Lovinsky, Pierre Antoine. His teenage kids just wrote a message, and I just sent it out over the internet, encouraging people to write, and the embassies and the governments, and you elaborate, Pierre.
Yes, Lovinsky Pierre Antoine is a man who who is the founder of Fondation 30 Septembre. It's a victims organization that advocates for the victims of the for the victims of the coup. And so he's been, so we urge people to support and go to our website,
HaitiAction.net.
HaitiAction.net. And there is also www.HaitiSolidarity.net for more information about how you can help.
Yes.
To try to bring him
Pierre,
back
I want to
safely.
thank you so much for being our guest here on this premiere of Freedom is a Constant Struggle. And I want to now turn it over to Najada.
Well, thank you guys for watching Freedom is a Constant Struggle here on Access San Francisco. Please tune in next Friday at 7:30 to see Richard Brown and Richard O'Neill from the San Francisco 8. Once again, thank you for joining us here on Access San Francisco. And just remember, freedom is a constant struggle.
And once again, Pierre, thank you so much for being our guest. We will definitely be having you back. And I want to say to our listeners, our viewers, you can tell that I'm used to doing Freedom is a Constant Struggle on the radio. I want to say to our viewers, power to the people, free all political prisoners, free the San Francisco 8. And one last word from you, Pierre. We have about 30 seconds left.
Well, I just want to thank Nkilu once again. I want to thank Nejada. And thank you very much for having me. It's always an honor and a pleasure to be on the show. And we have to free them all the political prisoners everywhere.
Oh, yes.
Everywhere, worldwide.
And there are plenty in Haiti that need to be freed.
And here as well.
Exactly. All power to the people. Thank you, viewers, for listening. Thank you, Nejada, for engineering. I'm Kilu Nyasha. See you next week.